till a couple people show up before I get started. At least two people. I'm not gonna go back this way. Hey there, Charlotte. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. Welcome. It's got dark all of a sudden outside. It's supposed to been sprinkling off and on all day. It's supposed to get 2 inches of rain tomorrow. Thank you for showing up. But as I was saying, I'm not going to go back this way because my Wi-Fi will mess up. But generally there's mostly resting bifoliates that are along the wall here. Although right here in front of me is Cattleya that tried to, well, no, it didn't try to bloom anything. It put up new growths that didn't have a sheath, and then it put up one late in the season that had a sheath that is now in bud. That is Kiko Sato. Volcano Queen. This is a rebloom for me. I got it last year. It was in bloom last year. I will go up this way, or I'll just bring it over here. I recently bought this inside because, again, it is a Borinjana hybrid. Well, it's a species, but it's a clone, 1 in a million. Today, I noticed that there's a bud right there. But I had mentioned a few weeks ago that my Borinjanas were fairly weak this season for some reason. Oh, another thing that's right here that I must point out that I've just been letting marinate on its own back here. This is my Encyclia placata. It's got 3 spikes on it that are kind of wonky. There's one that's reaching up in bud. There's another spike, and there's one over there. It's a placata that will be fragrant. And above it is a Rostavla hybrid, which is BC Induraboom. It's got to be named after Nance, because that's their last name. That's got a sheath on it right there, and it's got nice new growth that's coming up to the back over there. Back in between there. And let's see what else. Let me get out of here. These are my Eranthes that I went over in a video. I've moved them all up in here. Looking okay. This is a recent repot that I was really worried about. This is my Daichia glauca that I got a year ago at Andy's. And since the repot, it was losing it was brown, the leaves were browning off, all except for this one. And it started to brown at the bottom. But since I've repotted it, which was only maybe a week and a half ago, it seems like it's sprouting some new growth tips. So I'm hoping that's got some couple new growths that are right there. That's my Encyclia hybrids, Prismaticarpa and Brassavola. Yeah, okay. Over this way, that's my Laelia anceps, still reaching up high towards a couple Cattleyas. This one right here, which you can see the sheath that's got growths progressing. This was outside all summer. I'll try and, I don't know if I'll try and fit in anything, but we'll see if I edit this video. I guess I will have to. And post some pictures of some of these orchids when they are as they're blooming pictures. Down this way, this is still blooming strong. This is my cross, my dendrobium cross. I won't read the name, it's down there. Wandonishi. Hey Ninja, Nina, welcome. This, I want to point out, this is a recent acquisition. Actually, I just talked about these orchids this morning in my Orchid of a Day video that were imports. This is the result of their potting up. This is my Epidendrum cornatum, and it is basically in a mostly rock for stability, but in drainage, and also a little bit of bark and a few pieces of sphagnum in there. These are epiphytic orchids from Brazil. This one is very fragrant. And this one down here is densiflora. This is an epidendrum as well. And as you can see, it's in spike, caiman spike. And it is potted up in the same fashion as the orchid that's right there. So those are brand new as of today. This right here is something really nice that has two leads that are, the bulbs are maturing, but no spikes. This is a Brassia. This is reputedly the largest Brassia hybrid. Sunrise Glow from Phelps. This is my recent repot of my Phragmipedium Grande. Yes, they did stay okay. I'm so happy. So far, so good. Yeah, and the mounts are somewhere. I have to get to those. They look really nice too. Yeah, this is my Grande, and I took all the sphagnum out of the bark as I was instructed to do. Yeah, these are just growing. I see my hydro plants are doing pretty well. This is my Angraecum subulatum, which is in bloom. There's a bloom, and there is a bud that's right next to it. And my camera sucks, but it's very, very tiny. There's my finger. And since I've started to pay more attention to this plant, I've noticed more going on. There's a bud right there. There's a flower right here. And it's not going to focus. But you get the picture. This is subulatum season for sure, as predicted. Let me see what else. This is a big lip path that's been in bloom forever. And my Epilalia cattleya, which I talked about recently. My volcano trick fireball is finally pushing through, but it still has a ways to go before any buds or anything like that. These recent repots are looking pretty good. These are my Magnolia Bourangiana crosses. Let's see. Yeah, these new growths on this recent repot is doing pretty well. So far, so good on this Parthenia, which is a recent purchase from High Desert Orchids. Got that in her Thursday plant bonanza. This is my Eranthes Enrici, which has those new leaves that are still progressing, and this looks like it's going to be another new growth that is on the underside. And I have another little seedling that's got another leaf that's progressing out there, so that's pretty good. Down below here is a plant that I broke the spike off of. You can see it behind there, but then it put up another little one with some buds. This is going to be a pretty thing. I think it might actually be fragrant as well. This is Stortonopsis Gia Whole Summer Love. It's got to be fragrant. It's got Bellina. I saw that on the tag. These are just growing. This is probably dying, which is sad. I can see that black that's creeping up towards the crown, and it's kind of flopping over. The roots have all died off. I hope not, and I probably won't be able to find another one of those. But that path is fragrant, and it is spotted. Yes, my orchids did pretty good, to be honestly. I did lose a couple of them. I can't even. I wish I remembered which ones that I got now. I do know one of them that I got that I'll show you that was a mounted Drosophila flagellaris. That was a pretty big species that I got. Yeah, I'll get to that. It's outside. Yeah, but thanks for remembering. Let me see what else. Yeah, these are kind of just hanging out, marinating. There's some that have spikes on them. No. That's fine. That's fine. You reminded me. I'm glad, because you've asked me before about those. So now I can, maybe if I come across them, I'll remember that that's where they came from. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, these are just in various stages of spikes. This one is really branching off a lot. Over here, I think I've already been over here. This finally opened. And I'm sure the light's not doing it justice. This is my Bulbophyllum mingaruda. And I've had this for a couple of years, maybe 3 or 4 years, to be honest, maybe 3 years, and it's bloomed reliably for me every year. It actually smells like cinnamon, to be honest. I can't remember the cross. Maybe it says it on the tag. No, it doesn't. I'll put it in the description on the video. But yeah, there's another spike back there. Yeah, you can find it. Maybe I'll be able to part with the division. It's getting pretty big. There's yeah, I have 2 leads, and then there's another new growth that's right here that's finished maturing, so that might yet spike as well, because it generally does spike from the newly completed pseudobulb really quickly. The spikes shoot right up. But yeah, I'd say cinnamon. At least it does right now, and it's got that hinged lip. I wish I could get in there better. Maybe if I turn the light on. Yeah, it still looks pretty dark. But yeah, that's that. And this is another one that I just got yesterday. This is more or less, this is a Maxillaria picta basically, but it's under the name of rupestris, and this is one that I just got bare root that I showed off in my Orchid a Day video today, and it's in bark with some sphagnum. It likes to be moist year round, and it likes it cooler and higher light in the winter time, but a little bit less water, but it still doesn't like to dry out. And then over this way, these are more Bulbophyllums over here. This is my Joyce Kelly. Yeah, my Bulbophyllum Joyce Kelly that bloomed for me all summer. Finally, the flowers fell off, but it's got a new growth that is very strong and nice right here. Yeah, that's Joyce Kelly. Dendrobium, that's Dendrobium spectabile crossed with Dendrobium johnsonii. And over here, there's some more Bulbophyllums. This is my Bulbophyllum Frank Smith Sunset. And there's a spike right there. And I think that's another spike as well, maybe. And my Carunculatum doesn't have any open flowers yet, just buds. Back over this way. These are recent acquisitions. These are imports that I got from Colombia. Yeah, it is. I'm excited because things are doing well. Things are doing very well, and even if all of those cattleyas that I have that are hanging out over there, all those Rantiaca and some of my yellow ones, and I have a few Guatemalenses. If those do well, that will be beautiful. That'll be really nice. But yeah, these are my pescatorias that I got this summer, and it's got, you can see the roots that are going down into the media. The sphagnum moss, it's just in sphagnum. There's more roots right there. There's roots coming up there. There's a new growth. There's, maybe that's not a new growth, but it's doing well so far, so good. And I got these maybe July, can't remember. And there's another one that I got that is potted up the same way. This is Pescatoria Serina. This is a white Pescatoria. It's this is in the Maxillaria flower. No, it hasn't bloomed for me yet. I just got these this summer, and that one as well. That one is very pretty fragrant. I think they're both fragrant, but this one more so. It's more of a lilac, purple color flower with white lip, maybe. It's like a max. It's got a short spike, Conjurinca, kind of that kind of flower. Short spike from inside the fan, with a kind of like Lycaste on a short stem, big showy flower. Well, not big, but anyhow, it likes a lot of water, so it's in straight sphagnum, and it's actually sitting in that. And this has always got water in it, which gets it more humidity, and it's sitting on top of the humidifier. So this is a very humid spot, which is where a lot of my shade-loving plants are. This is a Pleurothallus. Can't see the tag right now. Where did the tag go? I know which one it is, but I can't. But it's got a lot of new growths at the base. It starts with an A. But in front of this is very nice. Got these both from Kelly over there at High Desert Orchids. This is a Path hieroglyphica. And that right there I got is a Path gigantea in Alba. And it's got that new leaf this year. And this hieroglyphica has got a lot of nice roots. A lot of nice roots in there. And I'm expecting to see a spike. My other hieroglyphica that I had already is got some spikes there. But those buds have just been sitting there, so I don't know what the deal is. But yeah, that's a hieroglyphica as well. Yeah, I wish some of my paths would do better. This is my Microkupovich. Well, they're doing well, but I'm not seeing any spikes yet. But this is my Microkupovich crossed with Rossitulianum. There's a name for it. Can't remember it. But this is a new growth. It's bloomed for me before, maybe a couple of years ago, and that's new growth. It's doing pretty well. This is another Path that's bloomed for me. Path Honey, which is Philippinense crossed with Primulinum. And these are all new growths. The old growths, the ones that bloom have been pulled off the plant, and so these are the newest growths. So these paths for me generally bloom every other year or every couple of years, unfortunately. Like this one's bloomed for me a couple of years ago as well, and then I repotted it. And this is my Lady Isabel. There is also a name for this as well. Lady Isabel times Wilhelmina crossed with Philippinense. And yeah, these are all the newest growths, but it has bloomed for me maybe a couple of years ago, and I'll put some pictures up if I can. But let me try to get out of here because I've got a lot going. Well, I don't have a lot going on outside, but most of the stuff is in here, to be honest, because I put a lot of it in here because I don't want to lose anything. But this is my epidendrum cross, epidendrum Rene Marquez, which is a cross, and then it's crossed with paniculatum, which is a fragrant reed stem, and it's got the new growths are here. Nice big new growths, and there's a new growth, and it bloomed for me last year. So this is the newest growth, which is a lot bigger. So I'm looking, hopefully. Down here is the dendrobium that I'm sure you're tired of me talking about. This is my biloculare crossed with convolutum, and those were the old spikes that I pushed to the back, and this is the newest that are opening. And then there's another right there, there's more right there, there's another one. So that's going to be putting on a nice show. So okay, let me go out here, and this is still in bloom. My cattleya across. Yeah, I just brought this outside. It was inside my kitchen. Trying to keep it good. Back behind that, which does stay outside, this is my Schomburgia undulata, which has, that's a new growth. There's new growth there. There's one here, and there's another one that's a little baby one that's right there. This put up spike for me last year, but the spikes, did progress the longest that it's ever progressed, but it's never bloomed for me. I don't let it get cold at all. I bring it in before frost. Last couple of years when I brought it in, it was in spike. This year, I don't see a spike. It spiked from over here, and the growths that are on there are still down there. So they're kind of puny. I don't know what's going on with it. But yeah, they generally stay in an area that's warmish, but has a lot of, I'm still trying to figure it out. It's a tough transition trying to get them from outside into the greenhouse when, out here they're in so much of a better condition, and then in there they're very stuffy, and it's a big change, I know, even though they came from my greenhouse. This is a nice big fat new growth on my Inobobon munificum. Which plant are you talking about? Your Schomburgia? And I noticed this week that it's putting up another little small one right there on a back bulb. So that's exciting. That is exciting. These like a lot of water. See, it's in moss. Yeah, mine hasn't bloomed for me. It put up, it came with a spike, and most years it does get a spike in the fall. Wow, so how's your munificum doing in semi? They would probably appreciate that because they do like a constant supply of water, except in the wintertime. That's what I've heard. This is my Dendrobium nindi, which I got as an import from Equigenera. And it is mounted on just this piece of wood, and there's some new roots right there. Well, oh, you're talking about your Schomburgia. Yeah, mine is, so yours isn't like mine. Mine is in probably a 10-inch. It's a net pot so that the roots can get out of there. It really needs to be repotted because you can see the front of it is already sticking out of the pot. It is, but I find it likes copious amounts of water in the summer while it's growing. I don't think it got that from me. It didn't. But yeah, my munificum, it did start to put out a spike, but the spike aborted. Yeah, it was like in here, and I was so excited. I was so very excited. But oh well, these pseudobulbs make me happy. Yeah, in winter I pretty much leave it alone. I mist more than I water in the wintertime. Fine mist on my hose, on the nozzle. This is something I want to point out, which I think is very interesting. I've had this plant for a long time. Oh, okay. This is my Dendrobium thistleiflorum, and it's always been in a pot. This summer, I took it out of the pot and hung it up because, first of all, it's so big, and it never was very stable in the pot. And look, I even just left the stake in there. I'm so stupid. But I noticed that it's got some roots starting, and I want to say this newest growth right here is the strongest growth, even though it's not the longest growth. I mean, there are longer growths, but I think this is stronger. I think it likes it better. So this was definitely part of my mounting my experiment that I've been doing this summer. Whoa, not too much. Too much, too much. This is something nice, the newest growth that is much bigger than all the others, as you can see. This is my it's a Brassavola aristocrat, which is a cross between Digbyana and Cordata. This plant is really doing well this summer. This right here, this is a cross. I think this might actually be a Schomburgkia cross. No, this is BC Maikai times Cattleya Herbert. That, and you can see that's the plant right there. Really big. It's got all these new growths, but they all have sheaths. There's the sheath. There's the sheath. There's the sheath. Well, I think there's a sheath in there. Maybe not yet. It's still developing. But that's good. And it generally has flowered for me every summer, religiously. And it gets a nice cluster of little pink pastel-y flowers. Down here is my Vandopsis Premier, which that's the new growth that's coming up. It's good. It likes constant moisture. There's the big roots that are right there. See, they're green. It's been watered today. This is my Angraecum veichi, which is a cross. It's got a new leaf coming out the top, and nice root tips all around the plant. And these kikis are all new. I think it came with one. Still some nice green root tips all around the pot. Nice healthy plant. These brassias that are tucked back here have been doing pretty well this summer. There's sheath right there. These are all new growths that are kind of flopping over here. Yeah, the roots are fabulous, aren't they? So I'm hoping that this blooms. This will be a first time bloom for me. This is a Brassavola cross. Little stars crossed with Perenni. Perenni is my favorite one. Speaking of which, that's what fell over here a minute ago, which doesn't, I'm picking it up. But oh well, got it back up anyway. So anyway, it hangs up there and it's looking pretty raggedy. But it's got a couple new growths. This blooms for me generally in the winter time. Speaking of that other dendrobium over there, this is the other one that I got, my Nindi. And this is just bare root mounted. And the newest growth, the growth that it came with, it's got new leaves that are coming up out of the top as well. So that's good. Maybe it's acclimated. I did notice this is my what is this? But this is the newest growth, and you can see the bulb has matured. That is my, what plant is that? Oh gosh. Now I can't think about it. I'll have to remember that and come back to that. Right in front of me here is, no, it's not a Pandorata. It's I got this from Colombia import. I did have one that was from Equigenera that was very small. And I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. It'll come to me, I think. Hopefully, if I remember that. Yeah, I'll have to think of it, or I'll post the name. But yeah, this is probably my most prized possession that I can think of right now. This is my BC daffodil. It's completely heirloom Cattleya. Although I did see one online, and it's already bloomed once for me. A few weeks ago actually. Maybe it was a month ago. And then it's got this new growth that's developed. It's got a sheath in it, and it generally flowers immediately from the newest sheath. So I'm expecting to see that bloom. And then this one is coming up, and there's another one that came, and this is the growth that bloomed. Kind of talked about that Cattleya back there. That's bare root. That's finally got growth showing, new growths. There's one over there. There's two growths in there. Right in front of me is my Dendrobium findleyanum, which has got some nice healthy new growths on top of there. Well, these are kikis, to be honest, because they're just on the oldest growth. What else? Back there is my Dendrobium herpoglossum that's hanging out. It's kind of getting a little brown on the leaves. I don't know whether that's deciduous or not. Not sure. This is going to be a nice thing. This actually put up 3 new growths this year. This one has already matured. And then it's got these 2 new growths. And it bloomed last year from this. And this is so fragrant. This is a cross between, can't remember, but it's Guarianthe bovringiana, another bovringiana, crossed with, it's a fragrant encyclia. And it's the most vivid purple flower. I'll have to put a picture of it. So if I get flowers from 3 spikes, that would be very nice, hopefully. This is my Dendrobium tortilis, which growths are pretty nice. And the tips of the older growths have extended as well. This Brasavla right here is also having a lot of nice growths. Looks like it's got some sheaths that are kind of forming. These little nubbins right here are all kind of indicative of sheaths. Oh God, how many do I have? I did tell myself that I was going to eventually count how many orchids that I had. Problem is, when I count my orchids, then I put them in the greenhouse, and then over the wintertime I lose so many of them, and then I lose count. But the last time I counted, it was about 600 orchids. I don't know how many I have now, but it's roughly around that many. I wouldn't say I have more or less, because I have had so many recent tragedies with my greenhouse and just with the weather here, having them outside and losing plants. But yeah, this has got like tons of new growths that look like they are developing sheaths. These little nubbins generally indicate sheaths, if I'm actually pointing to it. Yeah, there's not really much going on over this way. Kind of just hanging out. This is my, it's Colostylus now. It's Ciliare. And it's got a new growth there. There's a new growth over there. There's another one that's over there. No, that's not a new growth. But I think there's 3. Maybe there's just 2. No, there's another one that's right there. I had hoped that this would bloom. This is nice Dendrobium. That's my winter wine melody or something like that. It's beautiful. It's the darkest one I've ever seen. Velvet Melody Winter Wine. Had two nice new growths on it. Giving them a little less water now, since the growths have seemed like they're terminated, so we'll see. Um, these new growths that are on this encyclia seem like they're doing a little bit something, but definitely look like they're pushing up more leaves. This is my Shilobe. It's not token, but it's something else. Osaka, maybe? And there's another spike that's over there. Hey, Todd. Yeah, but it's going strong. And this is that lonely Colostylus falcata that the growth is still pushing out there. I shouldn't say lonely. What else? Everything over here to me seems to be sad, although it's not. I wish these sheaths on this encyclia would push out. That's my encyclia bacalis, and it should have bloomed. There's a few pseudobulbs that have sheaths on them, and it's just not doing. I don't see anything. What am I doing? So I had mentioned my predicament with my water situation. My rain barrel that's over there is completely empty, and we've only been getting drops of rain today. So I just took the cover off and my things are hanging out here. So, and believe it or not, I would not advise this. It's the same water I used last week. So this is my big Linford White Beauty, my Angraecum. It's got a nice big fat root that's pushing out right there. You can kind of see the green root tip that's in there. I'm not going to disturb it. And I'll pull this out of here. This is my other Colostylus. This is that Colostylus. Yeah, that trough is saving my life right now, because before that I was using 5-gallon buckets. Those buckets right there. Granted, I was using 7 of them at a time, but you can imagine me dunking my plants, and I like to leave them like that. But imagine me dunking them and having to bend over this many times to get them out. That was really ruining my back. This is still smelling really, really nice. My Dendrochilum magnum. There's many names for it. It's been in bloom now for a couple of weeks. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to still be like this in a couple more weeks for the show, maybe 7th. Yeah, I hear you, Todd. I was dying. But yeah, this is my Colostylus Oyster Day, however you pronounce that. And that's a new growth. There's another new growth. And there's another one that's somewhere tucked around somewhere. What else? I put this big brassia up here. Hopefully I will get some spikes. It's got tons of new, nice new growths that are maturing. Yeah, these are all new growths. How many minutes is this? Almost 40 minutes. Okay, well, we're almost to the end. Almost. This is that path that has been in bloom for a while. This is Succuculii crossed with Boxchilianum. And it still has another flower, but that is cracked open right now. And this actually sits inside on my kitchen. I just brought it out here just so I wouldn't have to go inside. This is my epidendrum. Well, it's an encyclia. I'll call it an encyclia citrina that I got last week. It's still pushing out that new growth. Got a nice watering this morning. This is my Epi Green Dragon, no, Green Hornet, which just finished blooming, but it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 nice new growths. Let me see what's going on back here. This is really a nice thing. This is something that I am gonna keep forever. Bepi Phoenix Kona. It's the spotted, very, very, very spotted and dark purple. Almost, what's darker than purple? I don't know. My mind went a blank. Maroon. Okay. These I am waiting on. Yeah, they will. They will. They will. I still need to get this organized, get it organized in there, but they will. Surprisingly, they will. Yeah. But yeah, these Stanhopias have really performed this summer. They haven't bloomed, but they've got lots of new growths, and they're filling up the pot. That's an Ecuador one that I got 3 years ago, maybe. Yolanda Brack. And this as well, this is recovering from scale, but it's coming back. This is a Tigrina it's got some growths coming up on it. My other falcata is my big falcata as the new growths are getting longer and longer. Oh, you know what? I got something else that I was going to show you before I forget about it. Because there really isn't much going on over this way. Just my Encyclia radiata that's maturing, those 2 new growths over there. They're kind of small. I almost killed that plant. As you can see, this was full last year when I got it from Spencer Lancius. You can see what I did to that plant, but it is coming back. And what I was going to show you, which I'm so excited, well, what I was going to show you is over here. So let me just pull it out. This is another Colostylus. While I'm thinking about Colostyluses, and I know I had made a comment a few months ago that if I ever bloom this, I would quit orchids. And then, lo and behold, I saw a sheath right there. That's a sheath. That's the first time I've ever got a sheath. So there's a possibility that will bloom. So today I noticed this. That's another sheath. So I am double the excited. I'm also excited because this is one of the plants that I got from Italy. This is I know this is Flagellaris, Brisavilla flagellaris, and it came on this piece. I unmounted it and remounted it. Doesn't look like it, but I did. And it's got roots that are on the mount, and it's got a few new growths. It's moving mighty slow. I mean, it's almost moving so slow that I might be bad and buy another one that's bigger. I mean, this is big, but these are the new growths. There's one over there, and then there's this one. But I mean, that's as big as they're getting for me. So I don't know. I mean, I'm happy that it's still alive. And there's another one that is sitting over here that I got in Italy. It's right here. It's my Brasso Catanthe Gyrac Firestar. And this hangs up right here. See, the thing that helps me with getting all of these in my greenhouse is that I have a lot of areas for hanging stuff besides the roof, which I hang things all the way down, more or less. This year I'm going to try to keep one of my heaters open that, well, I always keep this heater, that's the big one that's here, the 220. Well, they're all two. I have 3 heaters that are 220. But in the past, I've only used the one. Well, I've only tried to use one. And so the other 2, I've generally covered up with plants, or I put plants in their airflow. So you can't really put plants in front of a heater and then turn the heater on. So that would kill them. So this year I'm going to try to keep one of them open, and besides this one that's here, so that so that if it gets too cold, I'll have a heater open at the other end of the greenhouse. If that makes sense. My North Miami is right here. This is one of them, Todd. It's got a spike on, it's got a sheath on it right there. I'm not sure what that sheath's going to do. I'm not sure, but it's also got another growth right here. That's one of my North Miamis. I have another one that is back here. This is a North Miami back here. This grows very wonky. And this is the newest growth right here that I had hopes that would bloom, but there's nothing there. No, this is the newest growth right here. See how wonky it is? It's just a crooked mess. It's a mess. But maybe it's getting closer and closer to bloom size. I don't know. So that's my North Miamis. I have 2 of them. I have higher hopes for this one. Yeah, does yours get sheaths? I mean, that's got a sheath on it. So this is my Pandorata, which, again, I almost killed it, but it recovered, and it gave me these 2 little growths. At least they survived. So maybe next year I'll get bigger, hopefully. There's not really much. Okay, these are 3 of the plants that I got, my imports. This one right here for sure, which is Prostechia Campo something. Wow, well that's strange, Todd. Well, I don't know. I guess that just means I'm probably not. I probably won't do the same. Damn. Because if you can't bloom it, I can't bloom it. You can bloom anything in Florida. I loved that video you had today. How you're just so nonchalantly oh, it's so easy to grow. Anybody can grow it. I'm just like, okay, consider where you're at, dude. Just kidding. But anyway, this is, as I already said, it's a new encyclia that I just got yesterday. And it came with that growth that has a sheath in it right there. Or is that the one that's still progressing? But there's one on here that has a sheath. And I think that is a sheath there. But yeah, this encyclia in general blooms from summer on into winter, and it's got some nice healthy new growths, and I just love the way that the form of the plant fit this mount. I mean, it was the easiest damn thing I've ever done, and it looks like it's been there forever. I just love it when that happens. And here's another encyclia, or is it Prostechia? This is encyclia something. Espiritu Sanctensis Escura, the dark. And while this one wasn't quite as organic looking mounted as the other, still is very firm and secure on the mount. It has previously bloomed. There was a bloom spike back there, right there. And there's a new growth right here in front of us right here that's matured. So good things happening on that, very healthy. And then here's the last one that I got, which is Encyclia Hamburi. and bury. Yeah. And I mounted this. It's very sloppy. It's got a couple new growths that are coming up. But yeah, those are my new ones. Let me pull this out. Well, I mean, hey, I'd rather know than, I can't say that. I'm not like that about everything. I'd rather not know. But with orchids, it's good to know that you're not doing something wrong, that it's supposed to get sheaths and not bloom from the sheaths. Nobody told you that you're buying a plant that will never bloom for you. It'll just F with you and make you think it is. String you along. Okay, there's my raniferum. Still looks pretty nice, healthy. New growths still coming up. Not growths, new leaves coming up from the latest new growths. Yeah, but I'm really happy with just my roots that are coming back on a lot of these Brassavolas that are here. They look a lot better than they did a few weeks ago. Just there's growths coming out of these plants that really, for me, in the last couple of years were just stalled. There's growths there, there's new growths down there, there's two right there, there's one that's coming out down here. This is a Brassavola. This is my Hoku gem that's got a new growth coming out down there, and there's a new growth in there. Roots have covered that mount. Yeah. And even up here with my Rhyncholalia glauca let me see if I can hang this up somewhere without disturbing things, because I'm just starting to notice that there's a new growth at the base of the same pseudobulb that's putting up that new growth. And then there's another new growth right there. There's another new growth right in between there. And it's still putting up growths on top and sort of down below, if that makes sense. I mean, there's a new growth that's right there. It's not even coming up from anything but the rhizome. What's that? And even that one. Is that a new growth? It's gotta be. It's gotta be. I mean, those are new growths. And there's another growth. So, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I'd say it's a good thing. So I'm sure some people would probably cut half of those off. And that's got two coming out. But yeah, these plants are regenerating their roots. Like I was saying, there's all these green root tips that are coming out. You can see right there. This is a newish acquisition. This is Trichocentrum tigrinum, and it's been on this all summer, and it's got down there, there's a new growth that's in there. Can't really see it because it's so dark, but there's a new growth. There's a nice root that's attaching itself to the chala wood. This is my Oncidium astrolabium. It's a species, and this has bloomed for me on that growth back there. Last year it put up that growth. This is the latest growth. Generally with Oncidiums, you can tell by how big the pseudobulb is getting. You can see this line right here. That's generally where the top of the pseudobulb will end up being. Usually, you can gauge that. And then you can compare that with the pseudobulb that bloomed. So you can pretty much go like this, and then you can go like that to see if there's a chance. That's how I do it. And with these, when they're producing their pseudobulbs, you water, 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 water. Sometimes it might seem like it's too much, but these, at least the species, in my general impression, they appreciate that. It keeps their roots hydrated, and it keeps their fans not crinkled, and you can see how it's reaching up. So obviously likes it. And moving on down, here's some more roots. Really nice roots. I don't know about the growths. The growths still seem to be a little bit small-ish. And you can see, I'm not even going to say, I've had problems with these plants. And so I am mounting them now and seeing how they do. This is this one, Dennis Rossinger, and this one is Green Emerald crossed with Catherine Clarkson. And this one is another one. Well, anyway, I won't go over that. And this one again is regenerating its roots. It's got a nice growth. I was kind of hoping that this latest growth, well, no, I'm thinking of another plant, which is back here. I was hoping that this growth would bloom from that sheath. But if it does something with this growth, I suppose I will be satisfied. This is Procativola Wufong Jade. So that's a white encyclia looking flower with, it has a green frilly lip. Not sure what the cross is. This is my Venosa, another one of the guy I got from Kelly. Venosa crossed with Tokiyoshi Pizzazz, very small seedling, but it's got a nice little new growth right there. Its roots are doing well. It's actually attached, roots have attached to that little mount right there. Oh, something that I forgot in here that I want to show you, which I'm going to be showing soon again, is this plant, which is in bud right here. And this is the plants up there. This is my Dendrobium cumulatum. It's really slow in developing those buds. All right, this is something nice. This is my Epicattleya Charlie Brown, which is very, very long spike with very intense red flowers, long blooming, and it put up this new growth this summer that's got a sheath, and that growth is putting up that growth. Lots of nice roots. Again, this is my Dendrobium lasianthera, May River Red. Nice growths. Still got a leaf coming up there, and that growth's getting a little bigger. There's another one that's right here. And this is my Dendrobium alexandri, which is mounted, and this is a new growth that's right there. And this is the latest growth that's maturing. You can see how these are curved up, and I just got to believe that that's a sign that they're reaching towards the light, that they're happy. That's just what I think it is. I mean, the leaves are very glossy. You can see it's very glossy. I think that's healthy. Same as this. This is a new growth, and there's another one that's right here. Very healthy looking, shiny and glossy. Same as this one. This is a Lasianthera cross with Blue Twinkle that I mounted. That's a new growth. And this is the oldest growth. Next to it is my Dendrobium, there's the name, Pua Alla. And it's just mounted bare root, and it's got spike on it. Yeah. And these are just some of my encyclias back here that are just kind of hanging out, putting up some new growths. The roots are attaching themselves to the mounts. Some of these are all, well, not all of them, but some of these, especially these encyclias, are recently mounted. They were in pots. And that's my warty eye right here that has suffered some. Didn't get enough water. I let it dry out too much, so it's got that growth. But yeah, that's about my update for September. How long have I been on here? Geez, an hour. Wow. I'm surprised there's people still here. Since well, I guess I'm talking to you. I was going to be rude and say I'm just talking to myself. Sorry. I know you're there. I know you're there, ninja. Okay, so look, these are two spikes that are still coming up, so I'm going to get more flowers on this Laturia. That is nice. And this is my other, it's my Rinculalia, it's a glauca. And it's got several new growths. I'm not sure what they will do. Hopefully, that's a nice big one. And they're all around the plant. All of those are new growths that are there. So we will see. But anyhow, see if I can find something blooming to end the video on. Hopefully I covered everything that you guys want to ask me. Hopefully I did. So I hope I didn't miss anything. I'm really excited about this Parkinsonianum. It has found that other sheath on there. That's really exciting. So yeah, things are happening. Things are very serene and calm out here. Hopefully I've worked out my watering situation. And hopefully we get some rain. That's what we need. But anyhow, everyone, thanks for watching. And thanks for supporting and showing up and commenting and talking. And I appreciate it so much. And tomorrow will be my 100th video. Gosh, I got to do something special. But anyway, I'll talk to you all later. You all have a good evening.